So it is said that what you don't know won't hurt you. I want to let you know that's a lie, and the stigma is a lie. Hi, I'm Marquita Dorsey, and I host Mental Health Mondays on Facebook Live at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come over, first of all, add me as a friend, and secondly, put it on your calendar to meet up with me on Facebook Live, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so we can talk, right? We can talk about mental health. And so I've created Mental Health Mondays as a virtual open platform space for us to talk about the things that, plague our community, that hinder us from moving forward in our personal lives, in our professional lives, and everything that have to do with us. You know what I'm saying? There's so many resources out there now. There's so much information that we didn't have in the past that we do have access to now. So come on over, be educated, be empowered, bring your family, bring your friends. It's family friendly. Everybody needs to know this information. See you Monday. Now they don't want to let me on. I was finna say it's a Monday. It's Mental Health Monday. Welcome up. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Light Room. It is Mental Health Monday. And listen, there's plenty of light in this room. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. So welcome to the Light Room. Check in with your green heart. I am your host, and we are back. 2024 is here. The Light Room is here. We are ready. We are ready to serve you. Go ahead and check in with your green hearts. Let me know that you are here. If you catch the replay, welcome. Welcome. You're just as welcome. Go ahead and drop your green heart whenever you see this live. We're live. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good time. I want to go ahead and do these preliminaries. Y'all know how we do. I want to first give the disclaimer that I am not a mental health clinician, physician. I cannot diagnose any type of mental illness. Now, I can tell you what I think. I can definitely tell you what I think, but I cannot diagnose any mental illness. What I can do is open up a platform and a space to provide resources from professionals who may be clinicians, right? Who could actually diagnose with care. But I'm here to open up space so that you can have the knowledge, the skills, the tools, and the resources to advocate for your mental health. We know that many things many things can challenge our mental health. But tonight we want to talk about the main thing that challenges a lot of people's mental health. But before we talk about that, I want you to go ahead and check in with your green hearts. So I'm streaming from this new platform, right? Okay. Trying to be a little, tech savvy and fancy. So when you comment, I can see your comments. Your comments will be posted. If there are any questions that you have, make sure you put them in the comment section so that we can answer your questions. All right. So we're going to talk about finances, right? The confidence to have consistent income. I have a beautiful, beautiful young lady that's going to come in and she's going to teach y'all some. She's going to teach y'all some. So go ahead and drop your green hearts. Drop your green hearts in the comments so that we will know that you are here. All right. We will know that you are here. It's 8:09. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in because I want to go ahead and jump into this conversation. And I want to give as much time to the conversation as I can. So check in with your green heart. Go ahead and share this on your Facebook page. Share this on your Instagram page. Share it on your social media spaces, right? So I haven't been talking in this space in a while. So I want everything to catch up. But I miss y'all. Welcome to the Light Room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, sis. Thank you for checking in with your green heart. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the Light Room. So my guest is already here, but y'all know how we do. I want to make sure she has some people in here that she can talk to. I hope you enjoyed 2023 session. This year, we're going to talk about the overall theme for Mental Health Mondays for this year is self-care. when I did the evaluations from last year, got people's feedback on the lives, I wanted to know what was it that you needed, what was it that you were looking for. And one of the consensus was self-care. And I know many of us struggle to put ourselves first. Many of us struggle to take care of our needs. We want to run and take care of everybody else. And then we break down and now we're mad, right? But we're going to have these sessions bi-weekly, and we're going to talk about things that you can do to take care of yourself first so you can pour out to those around you and those that you love. Until then, check in with your green hearts. I am Marquita Dorsey, your mental health advocate and coach. See? Oh, wait. Coach Quita D. So check in. I am going to bring her to the stage. Drum roll, please. Y'all hear my drum roll? I am going to add her to the stage. Go ahead and share. Hey, Olivia, share this live with your family. Share this live with your friends. Check in with your green heart so that I and Damarius will know that you are here. Okay. Yeah. There it is. I just wanted to make sure the mic was on. So let's do a testing. 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me? I'm thinking you can hear me. I got some green hearts. So Damarius, if you want to go ahead and do a mic check so we can hear, make sure we hear you.
Yes, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me for real?
Loud and clear. Right? So it's 2024 and we are back in the light room. We are back live in session. And y'all, listen, oh good. Thank you, Jay Brown. I saw your podcast. I shared it with my son and my brothers. Shout out to you. Is that your brother? I think that's your brother. He looks familiar. Not sure. But shout out to y'all for the podcast that y'all got going on. We appreciate that. Okay, good. So the audio is good. The visual is good. Y'all, it's 2024, right? Look at us with a platform. Look at the Lightroom got a platform, okay? We got a video streaming service, all the good stuff, right? Hey, Kimberly. So I want you all to check in with your green hearts and listen. Post your questions in the comment. I will highlight your questions. That way she can see them. I can see them. You can get an answer to your questions. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share your experience, your expertise. We're all experts in this thing, okay? But I want to, you know who I am, right? If you don't know, again, I am Marquita Dorsey, your mental health advocate and coach. I have opened up this space to invite people who look like us, people who sound like us, people who understand us, to talk to us about the things that challenge us. Don't have to stop us, you know, things that affect our mental health. We have tools, we have resources on the earth. They said you can have Jesus and a therapist. You can also have Jesus, a therapist, and people like Mrs. Coleman right here, Mrs. Everett. I don't know why I keep just want to call you Coleman, because I think when I see it, that's just the first thing that stick out. Mm-hmm. But we have people like Mrs. Everett and those that are going to come into the live and that's going to share with you. Please come in here with pen and paper or a real good mental notebook. That's who I am. That's where you are. Check in, share the live. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So here's the thing. Y'all know how I do. I'm a little bit of a stalker when it comes to Facebook, right? I'm always looking for people that are in my social media space doing things that can help serve our community. So if they're on the other side of this screen, if they're in the light room, that means they're doing something that can help serve our community. So we connected on Facebook as a friend request some kind of way, but she's in workforce development in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been reading her posts. I've been seeing her content, and I'm telling you, coming from workforce, she's supposed to be here. Memphis, you have a jewel here. I hope you are checking in. I hope you have your notebook. I hope you're ready to receive this information. So we had a brief discovery call so we could actually meet each other before the live. So the energy is good. The information is going to be good. We're ready. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. So you can introduce yourself to the light room. Let them know whatever you would like to know, like them to know about yourself. And then we'll start from there.
Okay. Well, good evening. So my name is Damarius. And I am a woman. As you can see, I'm a Black woman. I am a professional. I work in corporate America, and I am a career strategist. So I don't work in corporate America as a career strategist. I am a career strategist in addition to my 9 to 5. And what I really love doing is helping ladies, women, everyone really, but usually it's women that come to me, level up in their careers. And that means a lot of things. It really depends on where you are. That means if you're looking to pivot, you're tired of doing this particular job and you want to make more money and you're tired of being looked over. You want a raise, you want a promotion, you want to know what skills you can use to level up. That's what I do. I'm your girl. So yes, I'm from Memphis. Um, uh, from Memphis, born and raised in Memphis, and so I know the area. I know locally, what some of the challenges are. But we actually got some jewels and some gems in Memphis that we could be using. So I'm going to pass it back over to Marquita. I'm excited to have this conversation. Please don't be shy. Please ask your questions. Be very frank. Ask them because this is a conversation that we need to have.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So y'all, right? Okay, the fire is already here. Now I'm working from this platform. I don't see the emoji, so y'all might have to put the fire in the chat for me. But the fire is already here. Okay, so as Darius Daniel say, put the fire in the chat. But thank you for accepting the invitation to be in this space. Like I said, I came from workforce development in Memphis. Memphis is one of my heart spaces, right? I grew a lot personally and professionally in the city of Memphis. Shout out to all of us that were in workforce, from human services to workforce development. And I got to see a lot and do a lot and hear a lot. And one of my favorite things was working with the clients. As a career coach, I had the opportunity to work with the employer as well as the client. So I was kind of like the middle person connecting the two, which is how I also see the Lightroom space, right? The middle person connecting people to the resources that they need. So you said that you have a 9 to 5, but you are a career strategist in addition to that. What is a career strategist?
So a career strategist is somebody who looks at your personalized individual needs, right? Everybody has a different need. So typically, sometimes you have run into people who do career services, and I network with a lot of folks who do career services, but they do only resumes or they do only like a LinkedIn profile. Well, I do it all based on what the person needs. So my thing is strategy. So I like to look and see, what is it that you want? Like, what do you really want to do? And then I help you get to that point by connecting the dots, setting objectives, setting goals, and like real time, this is how we're going to make it there. So it's not like, because a resume is not a strategy. I just want to say that from the beginning. We hear about it, and that's usually the first thing we think
about. Let me make you a banner. A resume is not a strategy.
You said what?
I'll make you a banner.
So
Go
resume
ahead.
it's not a strategy. And so I help people to see, that's great. It's a part of a strategy, but I want you to level up. And that's not going to happen just from having a cute resume. I want you to be comfortable and be able to, if you need all 4 tires, I want you to be able to get all 4 tires at one time, right? Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Tires, we all get 2 at a time. No, I want you to be able to get all 4 tires. If your car breaks down, I want you to be able to get, go and get your car fixed without having to worry about it. If your child needs something, if your family needs something, you want to be able to do that. So I want you to be able to leverage what you have. So as a career strategist, I help you to see what your transferable skills are, meaning what skills you have that you can use in different industries, right? Maybe you want to pivot. Maybe you're an educator, but you'll make more money in the banking industry than you will in the education industry. Well, I'll help walk you through that and help you beat that goal. That's the short version.
Come on, short version. Listen, wow. Thank you for the short version. And I hope you all heard that, and I hope you grasped the concept of what she was saying. I came from career services, and we are rather the shorthand of things. I'm going to get your resume updated enough to send you to the employers that we have in our pipeline, right? I'm not going to necessarily be able to, pull out all of your transferable skills and strategize that way. So there is a difference, right? And a lot of times when you're looking for a job, career services is probably the primary go-to place. But when you're ready to transition from a job to a career, I would definitely recommend a career strategist. And so with the work that you do, I want to tie this back into mental health, and I want to tie this back into self-care, because I just know personally, if you're not able to buy 4 tires, right? Not only not able to buy 4 tires, if you're not able to buy 4 tires plus pay the grocery bill, now your mental health is going to be affected, right? Now you can't concentrate, you can't focus, you can't show up at work. Do you have any experiences or examples of people who have shown challenges in such a way because they didn't have a career strategy?
Actually, most of the people that come to me are in that way. Like they don't have a career strategy, or they just didn't know what it was. It just wasn't aware. I've been in a situation where I didn't have a career strategy. I ended up learning about a career strategy through trial and error because I had lost my job. So I had lost my job after coming back from maternity leave. And I'm talking about, y'all, I took the entire maternity leave. You know, I was like, oh, I got a good job. This is the first time I can actually take the whole maternity leave. So I took the whole maternity leave, came back like to the job, and let me see, he was born about within 3 months, my job was gone. The whole department, you know, it was gone. And I was like, wait, this was where I was supposed to retire. Like, what am I going to do? I didn't have any, I wasn't thinking about, you know, keeping my resume updated. I wasn't thinking about that this could happen. They had great benefits. So now I don't have insurance, or you can pay the expensive COBRA, but who can afford that? I couldn't. And so that began the journey of me saying, okay, what I'm doing, because I started sending out my resume. It wasn't working. So what I was doing, sending out a resume just randomly looking for jobs randomly out of desperation, because at this point I'm like, I don't have any reserves saved up. So I just need something. And so going through that process of applying for a job, I wasn't getting any hits. It wasn't working for me. Like it wasn't working. And I was like, why? Why is it? I'm educated. I have experience. I was not entry level at this point. Why was I not getting hired? And so 2 years, no job, 2 years. So
wow,
it affected my mental health. So 2 years, no job, just have a baby. So postpartum depression, you know, my hormones bottomed out once I had them. And then the stress of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know, I have this small baby and 2 other children at home. What am I going to do? Had compounded. And so I was depressed. I went to a counselor. I went to one session and I didn't go back just because I just didn't have someone. That's why support is important. I didn't have someone to say, you need to go back again. You know, that was just the first session. This is what it's going to be like. I didn't have that. So I just went to one session and then that was it. And so I tried to deal with things on my own. I was depressed. I was very depressed. And so that also affected my job search, because if I'm depressed, means I'm in a certain state. I'm not looking for the type of jobs that I'm really qualified for. I'm looking for anything. I'm looking for anything. The lens in which I was looking for salaries, and you know, I wasn't even applying to on my level jobs. I was applying to like things that I was very, very overqualified for. That's what I was doing, and so that was limiting my job search because of my mental state. Because I didn't, you know, I was so depressed. And I just didn't know what I was going to do. And I was so tired. I was just physically tired, you know, being up with the baby every 2 hours, trying to look for a job. And so, like somebody said, yeah, definitely support. It's important to have support. So I've been through that. So here is what I learned from going through that. So what I learned is I am more successful. Get this. This is what I am more successful applying for positions that are higher than what I think I can do, than I was successful applying for positions that were, you know, overqualified for. And I'm gonna tell you why. Employers know this, right? So an employer, have you ever had somebody say like, oh, you're overqualified? And you're like, okay, so why don't you hire me? They know that if you're overqualified, you're gonna get there. You're not gonna be satisfied there. You're gonna be asking for more money. You're going to end up kind of jaded, you know, like, this is crazy. Like, I can do this. You know, you're not going to stay long. And so they're going to end up having to hire somebody else anyway. So they don't hire you. And so I was more successful applying for positions that were, I call stretch positions. Those positions where I could do, but I haven't necessarily done before. So that's what I started applying for. But again, that took me some time. It took me a process of realizing that, of actually getting help. I actually did go to my doctor finally, and I got on medication. And I am not ashamed. I said, Jesus, That little pill was some of the best things that happened to me. Like
Listen.
it changed, it turned everything around for me because I could think clearly. My
Yeah.
hormones were balanced and I could make
Yeah.
informed decisions. So I began to apply for higher level roles and I landed a position that I had never done before at the University of Memphis. And that really started my career trajectory to get to where I am now. It was that particular role that I wouldn't have gotten had I not addressed my mental health.
So we can go ahead and end the live here because, right, what do we listen? See how it all tied in. And I'm so thank you so much for sharing your testimony. That's much of a testimony going from, having the baby, the postpartum depression, which is a real thing. And I know somebody, Shakay said, and that's what we do. We settle just to take care of our kids. And so many times I have been guilty of it, and I've had clients who are guilty of it. Mendoza, I just need something. I got to take care of my kids. I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I got to do that. And so you go there, you're unfulfilled. And just like anything that you continue to suppress and pile on top of it, one day somebody going to kick it, something going to happen, and it's going to all explode. A lot of times people, then you'll go to the job and now you're responding negatively. You're not able to focus on your work. You're not able to show up as your best self, and you ruin your chances at this job. And not only this job, now it follows you, right? Because now you can't get a reference or you can't get a good reference, right? Because you didn't address your mental health or you didn't address the things that were going on the inside of you. So to the mothers who just had babies, and that, even if it's not necessarily postpartum depression, take time to rest. That's a traumatic experience we have when we deliver, when we give birth to a child. Our body go through a traumatic experience, right? Because most times, we were fine and everything before we got that big old egg belly. And now you're delivering an 8, 5, 9-pound baby, and it just causes a lot of chaos. You have to give yourself time. Your hormones have to be reset. Your hormones have to balance themselves out. And I know, culturally we have this, you got to keep going. I got to get it out the mud. Ain't nobody going to come save me. Ain't nobody going to take care of me but me, So thank you again for sharing that I would call a testimony, right? So that we can see the whole ins and out of the process. So as a career strategist, self-care. What are some of the things you encourage your clients to do, or what are some of the resources you have for your clients as it relates to self-care? First your clients and then second yourself.
Okay. For clients, I encourage them to use their time that they have off. If they work a job and they have PTO, I encourage them to, like right now, like this, they should be like planning their entire year when they're going to take off, because most of the time, especially for us ladies, if we don't go ahead and do that, we're going to keep getting pulled into, well, this is happening and such is having a baby shower, and then the kid. Go ahead and use your PTO. You're not a less of a worker. You're not less, like, there's no guilt there. Use your PTO. I use every last hour to the 0.25 of my PTO. I do. Like, to the 0.25. If I got 0.3, I'm putting it on there. I'm going to take it. So that's what I encourage them. I encourage them to do that. I also encourage them to give themselves grace. This is a tough job market. This is the toughest market I have ever seen. It's the toughest market I've ever seen. No more are the days where you could just, send out a resume and that's it. Those days are gone, and you have to do you have to jump through so many other hoops. Now we got to talk to people. We got to smooge. I didn't have to always necessarily do that back in the day. And so give yourself grace and give yourself time. That doesn't mean that you're not worthy or you're not qualified because you don't get that call back. Absolutely not. That is not what that means. It just means that you just didn't get that call back for that particular job at that particular moment. And that's it. That's it. It's not for you. So that's what I tell them. I get a lot of clients, especially now, who are really exhausted and ready to just burnt out. And that's what I tell them. I tell them to rest. Don't apply every day. You can take a break. Take a break. You don't have to apply every day. Take some breaks and breathe and come back to it, when you have a clear head, and use your time off. If you are working, use your time off to do something for you. And when you use your time off, use it for you too. Some people take time off, but they never really use it for themselves. Well, I'm off so I can go do this for somebody or go do that. Literally, you can do nothing. You don't have to go on trips. You can literally
Right.
in your house and be off. No
And
pressure. Those
phone
are
on do not
what I
disturb.
do. Yes. Yes. So
Good.
that's what I encourage them to do. And that's what I do myself. I make sure that I have time to myself. I make sure that I realize that, and I'm gonna say something that's a little bit probably controversial, but I believe it's true, that my children are not my life. I love them. I love them so much, but they're not my life. My life does not revolve around them. So that means that I still have to set aside time that even they're not
Now, what
in.
you saying now?
That I
What you
literally, and it's
saying now? Wait
healthy
a
to
minute
do
now.
that.
Wait a minute now. What you saying now? It's
I'm
healthy
saying
to set aside
it's
time for
healthy.
you without them kids.
Yes, without
My
them
God,
kids.
today. With
And it's okay to do that.
my auntie
And if
be
you
telling
create
her, I be
boundaries
telling her,
where they know it, they'll get accustomed to it. Like I have certain
yes,
times, if I have a long day and I have like work and I have clients back to back after work, I let them know a couple of days ahead of time. And I let them, hey, on Wednesday, I have a full day. So what that means is that mommy's going to need like an hour and a half to herself. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to have your snacks here in the bag, and I have a snacks having snacks. These are your snacks. And unless you're, bleeding or something happens, that there's something wrong, you're going to leave me alone for this hour and a half. Now, I know that's not a baby. Like, I don't have babies.
listen, mothers
But
across the land. Yeah, mothers across the land. I'm just happy you mentioned the balance and that is healthy, right? And again, I know we whew, you said it. If y'all got to go back and watch the replay, and to the replayers that are here, welcome to the light room. I'm glad. I hope you heard that. Write that down. And here's the thing: I'm a parent, right? I am a parent, and if we don't, again, like you said, if we don't learn, if we don't teach our children through by example, by leading by example, letting them see us take time, letting them see us set boundaries, then they won't do so as well. They won't do so. And it's so important that we learn to do that so that we are not overwhelmed and mistreating our children or being frustrated and, unhappy in our parenting role, because it can happen. Parenting is overwhelming. So parenting, job search, bills coming in, life still happening. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. And not to mention, if you're unmarried, you're doing everything for the most part by yourself. It is overwhelming. It is a lot. It is our duty. It is our responsibility to teach self-care by leading by example. So I'm going to step in the comments for a second because there were some comments that I wanted to go back through. One person says, I don't know how to take time off. Feels like my world will fall apart if I'm not working. Take that time off, ma'am. So have you, as a career strategist, right? How would you respond if you had a client that said such thing? Because I know people that feel that way, that
well,
live that way.
it depends. hmm I think it's common in our community. Honestly, I think it's common, and I think it's for me. It started when I was a child because I could never be out of school. See, that's where it starts. When our children, they always have to go to school. They never can take a day off of school. They grow up to be adults who feel the same way. I can't ever take off work. You know, it's so in them. So I had to, because that was hard for me because I don't care if I wasn't feeling good. My mom was sending me to school. And I used to have
Yeah, if you ain't growing up,
debilitating
you
type
going.
cycles when I got to high school. Like I started having problems with my ovaries and things like that. And I would still get sent to school. And that kind of traumatized me because I would be not like, in the chair, like, well, and so what I had to learn is where it came from. Number one, I had to become aware of where it came from. For me, this is what I did. I learned where it came from so that I can identify the source of it, so I can realize it's not that it's something wrong with me. That it's what I was conditioned to do. And then I had to make a decision. Okay, is it rational to keep thinking like this? That's what I want. Is it rational? Now, I usually ask those questions. Now, do you think that's rational? And they'll say, what do you mean? I'll say, do you think that if you didn't go to work, what's the worst that could happen? And then you start having these questions where you actually have them to think about what's the worst could happen if you don't go to work that day. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then they tell you, or most of the time it's like something that, and I'm like, okay, is that really that bad? Or is that on you? Stuff like that's really what I do. I kind of take them through like that exercise. And then we work towards, work towards like, here's what I want you to do. Maybe you don't have to take a full day off. Let's start with 30 minutes. Can you take, instead of getting off at 5 o'clock, put in to get off at 4:30, things like that. And how did you feel doing that? And when you came back to work, wasn't everything just fine? And once people realize, you know what, that's kind of, that's a thought that I can interrupt that thought and replace it with something else. And it's really not that bad. Then because I do acknowledge and understand that, the way that could feel and how it could be a little, make you a little anxious, when you're something you're so used to. And then I also tell people to be aware of, it could just be an issue with control. Just saying, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. I can usually point out that you have, workers and how they work, and sometimes even the careers people are in. If you're in certain careers, sometimes it's just control. I'll just ask, what do you do for a living? Oh, okay. Because as women, and especially as brown and Black women, we typically have some of the most stressful duties, right? We keep things together. We keep things moving. We're in operations, or we're in support, which basically means we make sure everybody else's fires are put out. So that could lead to us to have an unhealthy, like, oh my gosh, what they're going to do if I'm not there? They're going to either fall on their face, or they're going to run, or they're going to walk, they're going to sink, or they're going to swim. And it's not your, it's not for you to dictate what they're going to do, so sometimes we overexert ourselves and we take on so much so that we feel like we can't walk away from that, when we just need to let go of some of those things.
One thing I really love in this conversation is how you're bringing things from childhood, from early on, to how they're affecting people right now. And so in this space, a lot of times the conversations we're having are really surface level. Because when you get down to the nitty gritty, when you sit down with a therapist, when you sit down with a career strategist, when you sit down with a coach, they're going to take you back to moments where this first happened. And a lot of times we're operating off patterns, of, behavior patterns, off things that this just how I do things. And we need people such as yourself and moments such as this to interrupt those thought patterns, interrupt those, behavior patterns that have put us in a bad situations. A lot of time there's no way you should be working yourself that hard and not taking a break. You only get one body. You only get one body. It has to be taken care of. It has to have nutrients. It has to have rest. It has to have fun, right? It has to have some time to regenerate so that it can go up in the office as your best self. And so again, I appreciate how you brought things from, when did this first happen? Because a lot of us really are operating from a 9-year-old thought process, a 12-year-old behavior pattern, and we're 30, 40, 50 years old. So kudos to that. Somebody said, I feel like I have to play catch up after having my kids and this career shift. And so there are some people who are going to go into that are going to shift, right? They may be coming back into the workforce after having a baby, or they may be shifting careers from one being at a job 20 years and then now they need something else. How do you help them manage that transition as a career strategist?
Set realistic expectations. Set expectations. You set expectations. you're going to be tired, right? It's going to be some days that you work a little longer, or you may feel like you don't know what's going on. If you're doing a career shift, especially, every time I have shifted positions or shifted a career, I went through a transition phase where I felt like I did not know what I was doing. And I was very uncomfortable with that. Why? Because we want to be perfect, right? We're supposed to know. But here's the thing, you don't have to know. And even now, so I shifted, moved into a different uh, contract about, well, October of last year. So basically, I got a promotion in October of last year. Uh, Look, I'm not 100% now, meaning that I don't know that role 100%. I'm probably at about 65, 70% right now. And I'm okay with that, because I know I don't put the pressure that I need to be perfect. I ask a lot of questions. That's what you do. You know, you I think you reframe it. You're saying, you know, I have to play catch up. No, let's just reframe that. What else are you actually doing? Are you playing catch up, or are you making steady progress towards your goal? You know, reframe it. Because when I see and say the word catch up, it actually does give me like a response. Like it makes me like, I'm playing catch up. Like I change, like, oh, I'm playing catch up. But if I were approach this like this, I would be very stressed at work. So I'm making progress. So you set realistic expectations, and then you keep up with that progress so that you can always look back when you are feeling overwhelmed and see how far you have come, right? And then you put in, you put in some checkpoints, some checkpoints with somebody. I don't, maybe it's somebody at work, but if it's not, maybe it's somebody that's not at work, to check in with them and say, is this realistic? I started out doing this, now I'm doing this. Does that make sense? That's what you do. If you're talking on the phone with your girlfriend, I know I got a friend, look, we know what everything going on at work. I know what's going on in her job. She knows what's going on in mine. And that's a checkpoint, because sometimes she has to bring me back to reality and say, D, that ain't, no, you need to chill, or what's going on with you? Or you're starting to complain a lot. When I start complaining a lot, she know that, okay, what's going on? Are you working a lot? Like, what's going on at work? So that's what I would say. Set realistic expectations, set you some checkpoints, invite somebody in that's trusted to kind of keep you accountable to that, especially if you tend to work a lot. I know those are my tendencies. I can be a workaholic. I work, my 9 to 5, but I will go all with my business. Like I will keep going, because I love that type of stuff. And so I have to have somebody. I set alarms to tell myself to stop. I set a reminder that tells myself, start getting ready to wrap up. I literally have to set a reminder. And then I'll have my husband come in and say, all right, now it's getting too much, because I know that I have those tendencies, and that'll be unhealthy. Yeah. I want to enjoy life, but does that help you, or is there, because we can go deeper, but I want to know, was that helpful?
Was that helpful, Jay? So hopefully she's still here and she'll respond, but okay. I definitely understand where you're coming from. And those are good points. Those are good and valid points for anybody. Like, set realistic expectations. She said, yes, it was so helpful. Set realistic expectations. And I know a lot of times, even for me, we get this perfectionism thing going on because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to look bad. And then somebody said earlier, operating from a spirit of desperation. And a lot of times when you're desperate, you put that pressure on yourself to be perfect, even for something that you don't know how to do. So I've had to consciously say to myself, Marquita, you ain't never done this. You've never been in this space before. Why are you expecting me to know how to do this? I don't know how to do this. What can I do to get to a point where I know how to do this? And then, like you said, there's ease. We have to learn how to also pay attention to our bodies, even as we're searching for jobs and building careers and building businesses. Your body will let you know when something is good and when something is not. When you hear something that makes you like cringe, that's not good for you. And then you hear something that brings you peace, that gives you excitement, that it is. But if you're constantly rolling, and not paying attention to yourself, you'll miss all the warning signs. You'll miss all the triggers. And so I would encourage those of you who came from the space of, I've been doing this all my life. That may be your case. But if right now that's overwhelming, if right now that's too much, if right now that's causing a rift in your relationships, even if right now that's causing a rift in your finances because you can't show up to work efficiently, right? You have literally worn your body down. And sometimes you don't have to do nothing to wear your body down. It can happen right here. You don't sleep. You lay down, the mind just never sleeps. It's always racing. When you wake up, when that alarm go off, you tired because you ain't been asleep. And so you go to work sluggish, grouchy, with an attitude. There's no mental clarity. There's no focus. You can't do the job that you actually know how to do. So very good points. And I just, again, encourage all of us to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, right? Check ourselves before we wreck ourselves is a real thing. It's not just a cliche, oh man, I've been doing this all my life, but now I'm more tired. Now this just don't seem right. Check yourself.
And that's usually a sign. Every time I've gotten to a point where I was like just feeling like that, it's a sign that I needed to do something different. It was always a sign for me, okay, it's time to do something different. You don't have to wait until you're fed up to do something different. I know a lot of times we wait until things are going bad. We wait until we've totally outgrown the role, until we training everybody else to do the job. You don't have to wait. If then they'll do it too. They'll see you everybody. Oh, she real good. I let her train and don't pay you a trainer. Don't pay you a trainer salary. You can make the change now. You can start looking for your next before somebody else dictates to you. You have to do that. That's being proactive. That's what I'm saying. Be proactive, because that messes with your pockets. That messes with your money. Like she was saying, you're not gonna show up as well, this person definitely needs to go into this other role that makes more money, because you're doing the bare minimum. You're being mediocre. Because you just don't have it in you anymore. So we need to make, it's okay to say, I want people to really say, if you have a hard time talking about money, saying it out loud, I really want you to tell yourself, it is okay for me to desire to make more money. As many times as you need to say it. It is okay for me to desire to make more money. It is nothing wrong with that. You're not greedy. You're not greedy. Many of you have like really giving hearts. You're not greedy. You don't have a love of money, but money answereth all things, right? You need money to bless people. You need money to, there's things you want to do. So it's okay to desire more money. Even if you think, well, I just want to be, you can be grateful and desire more money.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to, if you don't do nothing else, I want you to know that just desiring more money is not being ungrateful. It could be a little selfish. It could be a little selfish because you have the capacity to do more, but you choose to do less. Okay.
That's it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it, right? Do y'all have any questions? Man, I like those moments. You see how it goes. That's why there are no pre-planned questions. I get you from your place that you're already on fire for. So it just flows from you. It just flows from you. And I just like moderating the conversation. But you have dropped so many amazing nuggets. And if there are men on here listening as well, it applies to you to a man or two. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. I ain't no man. We're not men. And I know there's a different stature when it comes to work and all those things. But I'm going to tell you this, as a human, as a person, you better take care of yourself, sir. You better take care of yourself, because a lot of men die prematurely or even alone because they work themselves to the bone. Yes, you are the provider. Yes, you should be out there making an income and making a life and making a living for your family, but you have to take care of yourself, right? And so self-care, having money is self-care. Desiring more money is okay. It is a part of self-care. So thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and watch this. It's just, It's just been so good how you brought these things from here to there. And I want the community to understand one thing. It didn't just start today. What you're struggling with, what you're experiencing, it did not just start today. You're going to have to go back and see where that thought came from. You're going to have to go back and see where that behavior come from. That's the only way you can stop it. Because if you ignore it or you continue in the behavior and you don't address it, it doesn't stop. It takes over you. Actually, it wears you down and you give up. So taking those moments, self-care is the best care. Absolutely, sweetheart. Self-care is the best care. So I titled this live. Oh wow, we're at 8. Okay, time. I titled this the confidence to create consistent income. Because when we had our conversation, I know you mentioned some things about how we can go in with, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, all those mental and emotional triggers and things that hold us up from being our best self. If you had to wrap this live up, speaking to having the confidence to have consistent income, what would you say?
I would say that you I would say that we're all created to do something and to do things well. And some of the other things that we talked about today, the perfectionism, although those are just things that come as a byproduct of life, that is not a part of you, who you are, and your identity, which means the very essence and the very core of who you are is gifted, right? It's strength, it's purpose filled, and that's the core of who you are, despite all those other little distractions that we talked about today. So I would just encourage you to get back to that. Just remember that. Get back to who you are. Get back to who you were born to be. You're going to catch that later. Get back to who you were born to be, and think higher. Whatever you're thinking, think higher. Okay? Whatever it is, think bigger, think higher, and then you're going to, I believe those opportunities are going to start revealing themselves to you, because they're going to be attracted to that, right? So think higher, think bigger. The essence of who you are is great. And now we just have to walk that out.
Amen. I agree. I agree. Demarius, thank you so much for gracing the light room with your wisdom, with your presence. So, do you offer, well, the services that you offer? I want to give you an opportunity to invite people into your space for the services that you offer, how they can connect to you, what services you actually offer to them, and then how they can connect.
Okay. So, the services I offer are, so our basic services, of course, you can get a resume if you need a resume. I do job leads. So I do customized job leads. So basically I always have a conversation with somebody. I never just send you a link and we don't talk. So I do customized job leads based on what you need. Maybe you need to pivot. Maybe you want a job that's paying more money. I talk to you, I listen to you, I see what you're wanting to do, and I see the strengths that you have, and then I do your resume, and then I give you customized job leads that's going to take you higher. It's going to have higher pay. I also have a service where all I give you is job leads. Some people don't need a resume. You just need the jobs, right? There's 20 jobs. I go and find them. I'm not talking about saturating LinkedIn and Indeed either. Find you the jobs, send them to you, and you apply. And then some people don't know what they need. And that's okay. Those are the ones I like to talk to, really. And so I have a discovery call. It's free, 15 minutes. You just get on my calendar and we talk about it. And then we can discover what it is that you really need. Sometimes you're just like, I feel off. I'm not happy doing this work anymore. Cool. Get on the calendar. Let's talk about it. And then I have a career strategy call that's 90 minutes long, where we literally map out everything. If you want to pivot, we're going to map out exactly how you're going to pivot, what skills you have, what industries you have, what exactly what job titles you need to apply to, what companies you need to go to. If you need to go back to school, you're going to come out of that call with that. So that's my bread and butter. It's my career strategy call. Because sometimes on those calls, that's when we kind of talk about, we get into why are you only applying for jobs that pay $10 an hour? We'll talk about that. We'll get into that. So you can reach me on Facebook, Damarius Coleman Everett. You can find me there. You can inbox me anytime. And then you can also reach me on LinkedIn. It's the same name. I'm on LinkedIn, so you can actually see what I actually do for a living. You can see where I do my day job. But I'm more buttoned up on LinkedIn, of course, than I am on Facebook. But so you can, find me on Facebook, Damarius Coleman Everett. Send me a DM. Follow me. You'll see all my links. So you can get at me if you whatever help you need. Let's have a conversation.
Wow. Thank you. Well, y'all got the information y'all need. Y'all got the wisdom. Listen, I would encourage you to go back and listen to this again. There was so many amazing nuggets dropped, so much that needs to be absorbed. So when you're at work tomorrow, put your headphones on, listen to this live again, and receive that information. Thank you so much, Mrs. Everett, for your information. She is tagged in the post where the flyers are for tonight, so you can go ahead and connect to her in the social media space from there. Like she said, she's on LinkedIn. Listen, if you're ready to pivot, if you're ready to stop getting the minimum, if you're ready to stop going home complaining every day because you don't make enough money, reach out. It's career strategy time. If you want more, you're gonna have to invest, right? You're gonna have to invest. And guess what? You are worth the investment. So go ahead and reach out to this lovely soul. And I expect to see you doing great things, right? Because it's already in you. That's what she told y'all. It's already in you. All right. So I'm gonna let you get back to your family. Tell them I said thank you for allowing you in this space with us tonight. I'll let you know when the live is ready for sharing and up on YouTube, things like that. But thank you so much for being in the light room
Thank
and
you.
Happy New Year.
Me.
Nice to meet you.
New
Look at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
I don't know how. Okay. There it is. Okay. All right. So y'all know how we do. Hey, Leroy. Y'all know how we do. We do. That is it. Listen, the first live of 2024 was already lit, was already fire, right? So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for checking in with your green heart, right? I hope something was said. I know something was said that's going to be beneficial to you. Okay. Having money is a part of self-care. Reach out to her. If you're tired of the dead end job, if you don't know what to do, if you've done all you know to do, reach out to somebody that's professionally and passionately trained, available, and ready to help you go to the next level. You're going to have to make the investment. You're worth the investment. We cannot afford to stand on the sidelines anymore. We cannot afford to just be strung along. Like, you need money. Bread is high. Eggs are high. Milk is high. All right. I am Marquita Dorsey, your mental health advocate and coach. This has been the first of many Lightroom sessions for 2024. I will see you again on this side, January 22nd. And we're still going to be talking about what? Money. Have a good night.